teachers and the Department of Education have met multiple times to discuss how the state should assess sixth years. The Taoiseach told the Dáil today he hoped to have clarity on the Leaving Cert by the end of the week. And sales of material for making DIY face masks has increased by over 1,000% according to a new survey. Waitrose and John Lewis also found that sales of gym gear and yoga mats have increased by over 300% and landline phones by 80%. That's it for now. More in an hour.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. Need to renew your AA home insurance? Go online to the aa.ie/myAA.
Most areas will be dry tonight with clear spells and just isolated showers, relatively mild with lowest temperatures of 7 to 10 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
All right, you're very welcome along. It is Thursday evening. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock. A busy show ahead. John Giles will be continuing his series of selecting his all-time 11s. Didn't include himself in his Leeds United side last week. Gets a chance to include himself again tonight. He's choosing his all-time Republic of Ireland 11. That coming your way just after 7:15. After 8, Tommy Welsh will join us. He is supporting Darkness into Light, which is taking on a different form this year. We'll talk about that and how he's dealing with the lockdown and his thoughts on the fact there'll be no inter-county hurling until October at the earliest, that after 8 o'clock. We will also bring you through the Louth Mount Rushmore Tipperary coming your way tomorrow. We've Michael Quinlivan and Alan Quinlan selecting it. Could one of them force their way onto the Mount Rushmore they're selecting? Could they choose themselves? That could be the latest controversy. So that's on the way between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock as well. And on the football show, well, it's changing on such a regular basis as to what's going to happen with football in this country. We're going to talk about what could happen with the League of Ireland. We'll be joined by Vinnie Perth, who is the manager of the Premier Division champions Dundalk. We'll have Shelbourne player Luke Byrne and Sligo Rovers treasurer David Rowe on the line. That coming your way between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. 53106 is the text number, at Off the Ball, if you want to get in touch on Twitter. Hope you're all keeping well. Richie McCormack, hope you're keeping well.
Do you really, though, Nathan?
I do. I have a newfound empathy, since this... When I said it previously, I didn't mean it, but now, I genuinely hope you don't have this. I wouldn't go much further than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching the cough more markedly online now these days. But thank you for your concern, Nathan, and it's duly reciprocated.
We're all well then.
Well as can be. Have you
painted the room in the McCormack household?
No. Apparently that's on the way. That's happening. Oh God, because I was supposed to be away on holidays on the 25th of this month. Clearly, that's not happening now.
You and me both.
So I'm still obviously going to be off around that time anyway. So I've been told that that's when that's happening, and there is no way, two ways about it. So instead of sunning myself on the beaches of the south of France, I will be inhaling paint fumes.
Is there not a national paint shortage that can get you out of such eventualities?
That's the thing. Like when everybody was talking about the restrictions being lifted somewhat last week, they were talking about like hardware stores became the new manna. Like they're talking about, the hardware stores are going to be open again. I don't want to be telling tales out of school here, but the hardware store up beside us, I'm not going to name the Great Shopping Centre.
Don't name this place, Richie.
I'm not going to name the Great Shopping Centre in which it's contained, but it's been open the whole time. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference now because they can open now anyway. But I don't recall a time during this whole farrago that place was closed. So anytime I wanted to get a rat trap or a tin of paint or some WD-40, I was away in a hack.
Well, you can expect a knock on the door from the Gardaí then, Richie.
I didn't avail of their...
They'll be wondering where this place is. Maybe they sell some essential goods.
I'm sure they do. And anyway, they can open now soon enough, so it's fine.
I need to paint the outside of my house. I don't currently have any paint, and I think I may get away with it because I'm fairly sure my wife thinks I'm too useless to get up on and she wouldn't be far wrong. I couldn't be trusted up on a ladder at any sort of height.
Anytime I think of a ladder outside of a house, I think of the England West Year. I'm thinking I'm like you in that I have these really weird everyday life scenarios shackled onto major matches or even minute and matches of consequence. One of them is the day of the England West Germany semi-final in 1990. I had to go and get a haircut. There was a local hairdressers that operated on our estate in Woodville. And we had to go around there. Both me and my mum were going to get our haircut by this lady on the same day. And there was a gentleman outside. He was either doing their windows or painting the outside of their house. But either way, midway during my haircut, your man comes crashing down from his ladder and into the garden, and he had to be taken to hospital. Everything got postponed, including my haircut. So I had to go into town with half a haircut and then return later that night when England were playing West Germany and have the rest of it done. So that's any time I think of a man scaling a ladder outside, I think of England, West Germany, and Gaz's tear.
Still a happy memory for you because you were able to get a haircut at that stage, Richie.
Thanks for that, Nathan. Yeah,
the niceties could only last so long.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you lasted what, 3 minutes.
Well, I tried my best.
And that's as far as we could get. Well done.
So what you got for us this evening?
A little bit of Alan Milton. He was speaking to John Duggan on this morning's News Talk Breakfast, saying the GAA haven't ruled out the prospect of playing 2 All-Ireland Championships in 2021. The association says there won't be intercounty activity until October of this year. That we knew as of last night. And they've also described a championship behind closed doors as being a last resort. And speaking to John Duggan, the GAA's Director of Communications, Alan Milton, says one area in particular needs immediate attention.
I think the testing scenario for amateur players still needs massive discussion and further elaboration. How do amateur players come together to play a match and then go home to their family homesteads, sometimes where there may be elderly people? Of course, everybody would. The last thing the GA wants to do is to draw a line through our championship campaigns or the prospects of having championships in 2020. Everybody's agreed on that. But unless it's absolutely, it's in the interest of public safety for us to do so, it can't be entertained. And we've spoken to various different internal and external groupings, as you can imagine. Like, we've had plenty of time to discuss this high up and low down. And as things stand, we haven't ruled it out categorically, but as things stand, and I've said it to you before, I think that it's a last resort consideration. It definitely would be better than no championship in my personal view, but I think it behoves us to try and explore every other eventuality or possibility before having to reach for that particular conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be getting their hopes up about 2 All-Ireland Championships in 2021. I think if we get 1 at this stage, we'll probably be quite happy.
Yeah. Again, like it's a case of them seeking more clarity. Like, it was all well and good. I think there was a new ray of optimism when that document came out on Friday outlining where sports might be able to return. But as the week has gone on, it's 6 days now since that was released. The FAI are the most recent to seek clarity from the government. They say they just put out a statement in the last 20 minutes saying they want to know the whys and wherefores of the amateur game and the underage games in Ireland and how they fit into the roadmap and how they might be able to return, because I guess it's just, at the moment, it seems to them like they're being asked to sling players out there in late June or into July with a little bit of a hope and a prayer that things are going to be okay, with a little bit of social distancing going on. But they are both contact sports, the GAA and soccer, so they're well within their rights to seek further discussions with Sport Ireland, and most importantly, I guess, with the Department of Transport, Tourism and Sport, wondering how they're going to fit into this roadmap.
Yeah, listen, I think 8 weeks today, is it, since the school's closed? 8 weeks' time brings us into the beginning of July. Things could have changed dramatically, for good or for bad, by then. So trying to make any sort of long-term plans is obviously incredibly difficult. But behind closed doors is clearly something we're going to have to somehow get used to. And I've commentated on games behind closed doors. One of the issues, and I remember commentating on a game, was it PSV Eindhoven that Jetro Willems, who's now at Newcastle, scored that brilliant goal against Liverpool. They were playing a game potentially against Marseille behind closed doors, and he got sent off right in front of the dugout, right in front of the microphones. And it turns out Jetro has very good English, very, very good English, and knows all the words you need to know when you want to insult a referee.
Here's the thing, right? You now have the capacity to potentially influence a game as you're in your role as a commentator. Because if the stadium is empty and if you bark a call loud enough, then it might resonate and be heard down on the pitch.
I could be that guy with the whistle.
Exactly. You could be somebody suddenly, because one of the things they've been talking about is that every game is going to have less of a pressure on the referees if they're going to be playing in neutral venues in the Premier League, say, because there'll be nobody there. And even regardless of where they play, there's going to be nobody in the Bundesliga stadiums for the next while anyway as well. They're resuming, as we'll find out later this month. But you're going to be playing in empty stadiums. You've got somebody with a loud enough gob, Nathan Murphy, I'm looking at you. It could well be heard by the referee and could influence their decisions.
All right. Well, more power to me,
I'll leave that
literally.
with you. I'll leave that with you.
What else you got?
Just be glad, Dave. Keith Woods says the Pro 14 will need a radical overhaul in the wake of coronavirus. This season's competition, as we know, is suspended indefinitely, while safety protocols mean rugby will be among the last sports in Ireland to resume. The former Ireland hooker told Off the Ball's new State of the Union podcast that the Italian and South African clubs could be cut adrift, and would prefer to see a British and Irish league involving English clubs.
For me, Pro 14, I don't like it as a competition. I've never quite understood, and I do understand because of Italy being in the Six Nations, but the need to put Italian sides with no history, no sense of rivalry into the midst of a Celtic competition. And for me, the comfort of, and the South African teams, for me, I think are an absolute waste of time. And I think in terms of player welfare, deciding that in the middle of your season, and especially for international players, to suddenly have to pop down and play a game at the High Veld, or to play games, for me, it isn't particularly right. I've always been a fan to try and go on that sense of rivalry. So for me, I'm still looking for change. I would love to have a British and Irish league, because I think the sense of rivalry that we see in the Six Nations can be mirrored at a club game across with Leicester and Leinster or Munster. You know the crowds that are going to turn up to those sort of things.
Yeah, some really strong stuff from Keith Wood. That's a new series, The State of the Union. He had Stuart Barnes and Giles Morgan, who was the former head of sponsorship with HSBC and who were very much involved with rugby on that. And it's going to be more episodes coming over the coming weeks, looking at Southern Hemisphere rugby, looking at the constant power battle between club and country in England and France, and of course looking at the domestic game here in Ireland. You can get that first episode up on offtheball.com right now.
As alluded to there, Nathan, it's been confirmed that the Bundesliga will resume on Saturday week, the 16th of May. 6 games will be played on that day, including Borussia Dortmund's Ruhr derby meeting with Schalke. There'll be 2 games played on the Sunday, including Bayern Munich's trip to Union Berlin. And then on Monday the 18th, Werder Bremen will play host to Bayer Leverkusen, and all games will be played, as we know, behind closed doors and under strict health and safety protocols. No such
Will
luck
we
in
watch
the
all
Netherlands.
games?
Be close on it. I mean, I think that for the Saturday in particular, I think they're all 2:30 kickoffs. I might be wrong on that, but I think they're all uniform kickoff times. Okay. But the Bundesliga viewing numbers are going to be huge over the next few weeks. BT Sport, I believe, are talking about putting them all on free to air. I think in Germany they're almost certainly doing that, because they had been locked into TV deals with DAZN amongst others over there. So they're definitely looking into putting them out free to air. So fingers crossed, we'll get ourselves some live football over the next while.
Hallelujah. Time for one more story.
Not in Holland. It's been confirmed there that Dutch football supporters won't be allowed to attend matches until a vaccine for coronavirus is found. That's according to Dutch Health Minister Hugo de Jonge. The Dutch government have banned all sporting events of a team nature until September 1st at the earliest, which led to the Eredivisie season ending early without a title winner or indeed relegation and promotion. De Jonge has informed the Dutch Parliament that if sport resumes in September, fans cannot attend until a vaccine is found.
All right, we may get used to announcements like that, I think, around the world over the coming days and weeks. Richie, thank you for that. A question, an important one from John and Taryn. You're wondering what a half haircut looks like for Richie McCormack.
Well, you have to cast your mind back to the days when I had a thick head of black hair and I had a calves lick, a double crown, and was walking around town with half, I think it was literally on one side of it was cut and the other wasn't.
That's what he wondered. Slightly more hair on the side.
Yeah, it was a bizarre. I lost on top, and not for the first time.
This morning on OTBAM, the lads had Meath football coach Colm Nally on for the latest edition in the Off the Couch series. You can catch Colm's football drill on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube pages. Off the Couch is brought to you in association with Joint Ace, which is packed with trace minerals, vitamins and nutrients to support a fit and healthy lifestyle at any age. Check out their website, jointace.com, for more information. Richie, you mind yourself.
Thanks, Nathan. You mind yourself on those ladders.
Give us the name of that shop again.
Huh?
Never
You're
mind.
breaking up. The Wi-Fi here is dodgy.
John Giles is on the way next. He's picking his all-time Republic of Ireland 11.
Some of the boys are really obsessed with me, and some of them, they will wake up in the morning. As always, the first thing they think that comes to their mind is Jose Mourinho.